this playing. Now we're both on the screen, me on the screen. Just getting all set up if anyone's watching. Hey everyone, how are you doing tonight? Are you looking for more leads? I mean, who isn't, right? Are you looking in the wrong spot? Do you know how to nurture your leads? Do you think that you don't have enough time or you have to be on every social media platform? What if I told you there was an easier way? Hi, welcome to Bite-Sized Tips for Busy Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Fain Brandt. And I have special guest tonight, Lauren Pawell from Bixa Media. Let me bring her on so she can say hello. There you are. Say hello to everyone.
Hi, guys.
There we go. Now I have us both on the screen. I am super excited to have Lauren on tonight. It's going to be an amazing show. I'm like so excited because I know I need to do a better job at nurturing my leads. And I don't have 8 hours a day or 4 hours a day even to sit and nurture my leads. You know, if you know someone who could benefit from watching this show, I'd love for you to just go ahead, hit that little share button. Go ahead, right down there. Hit that share button, share it out with your audience so we can help you all get more leads in less time. And I always like to know who's watching as I've created a global audience. So please drop in the comments below where you're watching from and what business you're in, because maybe I know someone that needs your help or your services. So in this episode, Lauren is going to share, what do we do, you guys? This is bite-sized tips. So we always go with 3 key tips. And the first one is going to be how to convert more website visitors into leads without increasing traffic volume or social media following. I love that one. Thank you. And her second tip is going to be why lead nurturing is just as important, if not more important, than lead generation. Pretty sure I need to listen when she's talking about that one. And then her third key tip is going to be different ways to make lead nurturing easy. I am super excited, Lauren. You have a lot to share with us tonight. So, wow. So you guys know that I always like to share how I know my guests. And so this time I have to say that I was stalking Lauren. True story. And you guys are going to love this. How did we connect? I saw her either on LinkedIn or Facebook, and I opted in from her email. I opted in to get some kind of checklist. It was amazing. And then I started getting her emails. So literally, I'm reading her emails every week, sometimes 2 a week if something was going on. And I loved how they read. They were short, they were informative, and they were personal. So I was telling Lauren before this show that I remember when she was camping, and she was talking about how she was going to work, why she's camping, and how she was getting everything set up. And I was just so fascinated that she was sharing with her audience this personal part of her life, but you had like a tip at the end or something. And so I just thought, wow, this is someone I really could learn from. And so long story short, I've been stalking her through email and Facebook and LinkedIn. And then I asked her to be on be a guest on my show this year, and she graciously said yes. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Because can I share with the audience? So
yeah, go for it.
She just told me tonight, yeah, no problem. I'm jumping on a red eye to go to New York to help a client. I was like, wow, girl, you are busy. So thank you so much. Why don't we just dive right in? Lauren, why don't you go ahead and tell our audience how you got started? Like, did you always want to be an entrepreneur? Have you always been in marketing? Go ahead and tell us your story.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for having me. I'm super honored to be here. And secondly, to answer your question, I don't know the answer to, did I always want to be an entrepreneur? Meaning I always like to be in charge. I've always kind of had that in me, but I started out my career in corporate after getting an MBA. I started working for a medical device company, 11 years ago. Sorry, I had to do the math there. And I was living in Belgium working for a medical device company, kind of straddling marketing and sales. Essentially, I was in charge of a product that the salespeople didn't want to sell. So I would join them on location in different hospitals in Europe wait for someone to have a heart attack and then ask the
What?
doctor to use my device. Yeah. Yeah, it was intense. And the salesperson would drop me off and leave me and say, hey, well, I'm going to go sell the real product because this is a crap product. Sorry, pardon my French. This is a bad product, and so we'll just let you handle it. I'm afraid of blood. Like, I passed out when I got my ears pierced. So waiting around for someone with a heart attack and, like, keep my calm was really quite a stretch for me.
So you were living across the pond over in Belgium. How long were you abroad?
I did 2 stints, and I was there about 5 years total. So,
Nice.
yeah, and I was in Belgium for 3 years. So it was an incredible learning experience. I essentially had 3 jobs in one. That was one of my jobs, and I learned a lot. And I had this opportunity to work for a small company where I wore way too many hats, but likewise, I got to do all these things I would have never gotten to do basically as a newbie out of, straight out of my MBA. And so I'm really grateful for the experience because it taught me a couple things. One, I didn't want to have a boss ever again. Okay. And 2, maybe working in the health industry where blood was, kind of a part of
Probably
my life.
Wasn't your gig. Probably wasn't the industry for you to stay in long term.
No. So anyways, I remember this, it was my birthday and I was in Ashford, England, and there was this particularly horrific case where the patient was, not going to make it on the table. And I didn't know at the time because I didn't have enough training, but there were interns in there that I thought were doctors, but they were interns. It was chaos. Like, people were throwing medicine across the operating room. Someone asked me to go get the parents of the patient because they weren't going to make it, and so to bring them over there. And then when I brought him over there, the real doctor yelled at me because I wasn't supposed to do that. Anyways, I got on the train to go back to Belgium, and I just remember losing it. Like, I started sobbing in the train. Like, this person was going to die. They were supposed to use my device, experiment with my device on this patient. Luckily, they did not. The device, I'll just say it. But the device was eventually recalled because it separated inside a patient. It wasn't a good device. So, yeah, it was a lot of complications. Anyways, at that point, I knew, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. But I did love the marketing side of things. But the company I was working for was mainly doing offline stuff. And so, anyways, I left that job, moved to London, trained with a digital agency. They made me a really bad job offer, but I learned a lot from them.
I like the way you put that. I thought you were going to say they made me a really good job offer, a really bad job offer, but with in-house training. With in-house training.
So, I had the opportunity to work on amazing campaigns for NFL Madden Superstars, Foxy Bingo, like these really amazing companies. So I got a lot of great experience, but when I finally got the real job offer, I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't keep, anyways, I didn't want to be working for anyone else anymore. So I moved back to the States and started my own thing. So It's kind of a convoluted answer to saying I don't really know.
Yeah, so you were doing marketing across the pond in Belgium and stuff. You knew blood and hospitals and doctors weren't your thing. And then you took another job to learn a little more about marketing. And again, you knew, you didn't want to work for anyone else.
Yeah, I think I was just so burnt out by that time. Without going into too many stories, it was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. And, I was used to being a top performer at my old job, but not getting treated accordingly. Very male dominated industry, male counterparts would get higher salaries, they would get better benefits.
That still happens these days.
It does. But I guess I was just tired of getting walked on a little bit while being one of the better performers. And so when I saw the job offer for this other company, I just thought, oh man, this is just going to be a repeat. I don't know that I can do it again. And so I didn't. So I started my own company 8 years ago, and I haven't looked back since.
And we were just talking before the show. I was asking you how many clients, and you travel, and you have some part-time employees that work for you, and a VA, I think. So you've got your own agency here. And I love the work that you're doing, because I know that you and I had jumped on a strategy call.
We did.
For that, and man, and you were hammering out answers for me. I was like, okay, now I just need the time to implement all that. I think that my problem as an entrepreneur is I don't have enough time. And that's probably why I would hire someone like you, because I don't have enough time. But enough about me, because this show is all for you guys. And I bring the experts on so you can ask questions and get the answers to your marketing needs. Basically, we talk a lot to marketing experts on the show, because that's what everybody, we're trying to wrap our head around, and it changes so much. But let's dive into topic number 1, which is how to convert more website visitors into leads without increasing traffic volume or social media following. And I think this is going to be quite intriguing, because I think that we all feel that we have to be on so many different social media platforms to get enough leads, and that we need more traffic. Everyone's like, drive more traffic to your website. Drive more traffic. So I would love to hear your spin on what we should do instead.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things to talk about, because I think we all fall into this trap of shiny object, shiny object, shiny object. If we just go on this platform, if we just go on this platform, if we just go on this platform, all our lead volume problems will be solved. And the reality is that's so far from true. So, there's some really easy ways to just make a few tweaks to your website without redoing the entire website, which is also another trap that we all fall into, which is, I have to redo my entire website and then everything's going to change.
That's always me.
Yeah. So basically, I'll just kind of walk you through. There's really 2 steps that I recommend you do on your website, especially if you're a service provider. Now, if you sell products, we might make a couple tweaks to this. But if you think about your leads in 2 categories, you have people who are ready to buy now, meaning they're looking for a solution and they're ready to make a decision. And then you have people who know they have a problem and they're looking for someone to solve it, but they haven't quite made that decision to buy now, whether it's from you or for someone else, but they're out there looking for more information. So think about it like if you're buying a car, right? In the beginning, you might not know what kind of car you want. You might not know, do you want a truck or a sedan? Do you want a convertible? You're making all these decisions first just around what exactly do you need. But then once you're like, okay, I've landed on a Toyota Tacoma, then you're just going to be looking at different dealers and figuring out who's the best fit for you, right?
We went through that last summer. So last August, I was telling you, we bought this boat. Yeah. Well, we needed a truck, right, to pull it with.
Of course.
Buy the boat, then buy the truck. We were using my dad's, and so I was like, okay, we're going to buy a truck. And so we didn't want a truck because it's going to be my everyday car. Mm-hmm. So it's like, do I want like a Ford Explorer? Do I want the Toyota 4Runner? Am I going to buy used? Am I going to, at the beginning, there was just so many things. And I was online getting like quotes from all different dealers.
Oh, yeah.
And it was crazy. And because I wanted the new car before Labor Day. So I had like a hard deadline. So we bought a car within 5 weeks.
That's pretty fast.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But before you know which model you want, you are doing a lot of research online, and you're not always ready to have a discussion with someone where they're pushing you and saying, buy tomorrow, come in the dealer and come test drive this car tomorrow. Because you're like, well, I don't even know if that's a car I want, so I'm not going to go test drive a car I might not want.
And then a lot of them were like that. Well, I have this one on the lot. I'm like, I can't. They're like, what time can you be here? I'm like, whoa. I'm just looking. Yeah. I don't want to drive to Carlsbad. I don't want to drive anywhere to go test drive a car today. I'm just kind of feeling it out. What's the price range? What model can I afford? What's the best car for me to have and to tow the boat? And it came between the Ford Explorer and the Toyota 4Runner. The Toyota is a great car, right?
Yeah.
It's going to last forever. But it's also higher than the Ford Explorer. And I asked my husband, measure. I want to know what the difference is. Because your car goes into the water, right?
Yeah.
When you're backing up. So, and the Ford Explorer drives like a car. Super comfy, has all the bells and whistles. And the Toyota 4Runner is on a truck chassis, I learned. I'm like, it's to pull a boat. We're getting the truck chassis that's higher.
There you go. Yeah, and I think what people don't realize is when you're in that early stage, you don't want someone pushing you in high pressure. It really turns you off, and you're like, okay, I'm not buying from this person. And I think a car is a great analogy for this, because we all know what it feels like to have like that slimy
salesperson.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not saying everyone's like that sells cars, but it just like your immediate reaction is to be like, oh no, not this person. And then you go to the next. And so anyways, on your website, you want a way to capture the lead that's early on and the lead that's ready to buy. And so the lead that's early on doesn't necessarily want a quote yet. They just want to learn more about your offering, what it involves, like how it compares to the competitors, what's your process like, do they know, like, do they like you? Like they might not even know if they like you yet. We all buy from people we like, right? You don't buy from people you don't like. So the way you address those leads early on is you have some sort of lead magnet. Now, if you don't know what the term lead magnet means, it's basically like a way to draw leads to you. And it's typically something that's, a video, a PDF, a worksheet, maybe a list or a guide. Sometimes it'll be like a buyer's guide, right, if you're thinking about cars, or a brochure. And essentially you gate it behind, asking for someone's contact information, so whether it's their first name or email address. Yeah.
You're opt-in.
Exactly. And so what that allows someone to do is like test the waters with you and say, oh, let me just learn a little bit more. I am interested in learning more, but I'm not yet ready to make a full commitment yet. Like, it's almost like I want to go on a first date with you, but I'm not ready to marry you. Right? So if someone asks you to marry you on the first date, with few exceptions, you're not normally going to say yes. So you have this lead magnet that addresses the leads early on. What happens when someone opts in is you ideally have some sort of automated email sequence that's on autopilot, so you don't have to think about it. That stays in touch with those leads, and then you plug them into your normal emails. So you have that one path for people who are early on, and then the second path you have is some sort of longer inquiry form. So Mary, you went through this when you requested my strategy session. And ideally this form does a couple things. One, it gives you some great information about the quality of the lead. But more importantly for the lead, it allows them to experience some sort of win and get some trust in the process with you, knowing that you're asking the right questions and you know what you're doing. Right? So this is often a really big missed opportunity because people just have a contact form that says first name, last name, message, and email address, and that's it. And that doesn't inspire a lot of trust. It just means I'm trying to get a hold of you, and I really don't know how else to get a hold of you, right? So I was talking to my fiance today because he was trying to get a hold of a vendor, and he's shopping around, and he was reaching out to 6 different vendors. He's like, I couldn't even get someone on the phone. I filled out all these contact forms, and it's basically like, what's your name and email address? And that doesn't really allow you to understand the needs of the lead that's ready to buy now and is going to make a decision pretty quickly.
Right. So then even if you do get on the phone with them, having a more custom or the questionnaire, if it's, like, what are you looking for? What's your budget? What's your timeline? Have you worked with a coach before? I think I have some of those questions on one of mine. It helps you be prepared for if you do get on the phone, that you can say, oh, I see that you've worked with a coach in the past. How was that experience for you? Right?
Yeah. That's what I feel. Or, hey, you say, like, you don't even know where to start with your LinkedIn profile.
Right.
Great. We're going to start here. Right? It's like reaching out to someone that's a contractor and saying, I want you to build a house. And the contractor can't give you any sort of informed answers because they have no idea what kind of house you want to build. Right? Like maybe you need someone who specializes, because you live in Hawaii, in building on lava rock.
And lava rocks.
Yeah. And that's totally different than, I don't know, building in the desert on sand, right? So
you should have to kind of recap, you have that quick opt-in. Yeah. And that's usually, I have the LinkedIn profile audit checklist. Mm-hmm. There's some videos embedded, but like 4 things they can do to improve their LinkedIn profile. Yeah. And then I get their email, and where I fail, you guys know I like to share the good and the bad and ugly, is that I don't have that follow-up email system set up. Mm-hmm. I know that I should, and I just made a note while you were talking, autopilot, lead magnet.
I love that.
Yeah. So you have that little one. You have that little opt-in, like where you're giving something away so people can get to know you, the know, like, trust. Yeah. And then the second one is, what would we call that? Is that the...
inquiry form, I guess, is maybe a good way to think about it. And ideally, it includes a combination of qualitative and quantitative questions, meaning quantitative things are easy to answer. What's your budget? Have you worked with someone before? Yes or no?
What's your deadline?
What's your deadline? Yeah. Qualitative would be more open-ended, and what you want to do is not put words in the prospect's mouth. You want them to tell you exactly what's going on, because not only does that, one, allow you to get on a phone call and have a very educated conversation, but two, you can use all of that amazing copy and messaging in your marketing materials, and then it feels like you're in the customer's head, because you are.
Got it. I like it. I like it. Yeah. So let's talk about, just because that autopilot. So someone gets that opt-in, right? Yeah. So they get the LinkedIn audit checklist, right? And then I should be doing a follow-up, like, hey, did you have any problems? Did you get that LinkedIn audit checklist done? How many series of emails should they get from that, your first? Is it like 2?
It depends. There's really no right answer. I mean, it could be 2, it could be 1, it could be 10 or 25. Like, let's say you're a wedding planner, and you only, people only plan, well, it depends. You could have more than one wedding, but typically you have one wedding. It's a big event. And the steps that you're going to walk through to plan your wedding are going to be the same, no matter, whether I'm planning a wedding 2 years from now or, 3 months from now. So they might have, I don't know, a 3-month sequence that's on autopilot, because the steps are all going to be the same. Where you might only have 2 emails.
Okay.
So it depends a little bit on what it is, and how often you're sending emails on the back end, because you may say, I'm not consistent, or I'm too busy, or I have a full-time job, so I can't create content regularly enough. So let me just put it all on autopilot. But ideally, it educates them, it keeps the conversation going about that lead magnet, and then also directs them to take the next step with you. So in your case, Mary, that might be to jump on a call, right?
Yeah, that's what I usually do, book a call. Yeah. Have a link to book a call with me.
Yeah. So, when you provide that call to action in a follow-up email, and you've given someone enough time to take that first date and the second date and maybe the third date with you, then that no longer feels pushy, because they basically said, yes, I want this information, and I'm welcoming you into my world because I want to know more. Oh, and now you're asking me, do I want to take the next step? And yeah, why not? It just doesn't feel as high pressure.
I like it.
No one wants to be pressured into buying something.
No. The other thing about, we're talking about sales and leads and all that. Yeah. I just want to throw that out there. I went to Social Media Marketing World 19, and Mark Schaefer was the keynote speaker. Oh, wait, hold on. This will be hilarious, because I'm reading his book. Okay. I got my signed copy. Wait, where is it? I'm super excited over this. Got my signed copy. So I was reading this on the plane. It's an amazing book. And my whole takeaway from his keynote was that we need to humanize our brands. And I'm like, cool, because I've been doing that from day one. That's just kind of who I am. But there's some things I could do better. But what I got from that also, from his talk, was that we are not in control of our marketing. The consumers are. They're telling us how to market, when to market, why to market, because they are tired of being sold to. So everything that you're telling us is spot on with what Mark Schaefer was saying, is they're telling us when to market, and we need to listen. That's why it's called the marketing rebellion, is that this rebellion's coming up, and I can see it for myself when I'm purchasing and marketing and stuff. I don't want that high pressure, give me some information, let me get to know you, and then let's have a conversation. And still then I might not be ready. So I think that you're saying the same thing with the emails.
Yeah.
Don't hit them hardcore. Don't be that hardcore salesperson. That doesn't work anymore. Consumers are smarter than they've ever been.
Yeah, and they can go, get inquiries from 25 vendors and pick the one they like best. So yeah, be the one they like best, and don't be that slimy salesperson that people really don't like to buy from. That might get you the short-term sale, but does that really help you acquire a customer for life?
Right.
Not really.
Right.
So to give another example on the car sales line, my fiance had to buy a car pretty quickly a couple years ago, within a span of 2 weeks.
That is quick.
So quick. So he found a Subaru. He found a dealer. The dealer seemed amazing. And lo and behold, as soon as he bought the car, the dealer was unresponsive to any sort of responsibilities that they had on some of the other stuff that they had promised. And I just told my fiance, I was like, it's so short-sighted because we would have bought all of our cars from that dealer as long as we were in Denver, you know, and if you just think about what is best for the long-term relationship, which, Mary, I think this really falls into your, like, take the online relationship offline, but think about your marketing as building relationships. It's not about building followers. Even having an email subscriber is about building a relationship with that subscriber and that human. It's not about building like a 10,000 person email list. Yeah, great if you have one, but it's better to have, you know, relationships with 100 people that's strong than 10,000 subscribers that does, you know, you really have no relationship with them.
And I think when you're starting off, you hear of all these people that have these 10,000 email lists, and it's intimidating and it's scary, and you're like, how do I do that? And then people just add you to their email list. And I've been opting out like crazy to email lists, even if it's something like, I'm like, oh, let's connect, and then they send me something. I'm getting some odd emails. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I'm not buying a house here in San Diego. Let's just put that out there. Yeah. Everyone knows that knows me. So you're not, you know, I don't need to be on your list, and some other insurance ones I get. So it is really more about building the relationships. I would rather have a smaller list that's engaging than a list of 10,000 people that are deleting and not reading my emails.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said it earlier, like you were on my list and you liked that I shared personal stories. And why do you like that? Because it's about building a personal connection, because people don't buy from businesses, they buy from humans. Yep. You know, so if you don't like me, you're definitely not going to stay on my email list, and you're most likely not going to buy from me ever.
And I'm still on your email list because I love your emails. And it's not like every other day I'm getting one, you know, you're not bombarding. I mean, we send out emails about the Facebook live shows. And then we send it out that we do a recap at the end of the month. Like, here's the last 2 shows, here's the replay, the links, and here's the next 2 shows. So I think once a week we have an email going out.
Yeah. And the frequency really would depend on the type of business. Like, some people can send out daily emails. I personally don't want daily emails from anyone, including my
I'm like, if anyone's watching, do not send daily emails. I'm sorry, because I will unsubscribe from you in a heartbeat.
Yeah. And don't subscribe people who haven't opted in. Like, I just think, like, no one wants to be forced into your home. Like, you know, like, they want to be invited in and they want to, like, take the step over the threshold. No one wants you to shove them in there and, like, lock the door and be like, you're here forever.
Absolutely. You know? So that was really great advice about having the 2 different really kinds of opt-in. You know, I think the opt-in that we all know about is that checklist, the PDF, I always think of checklist, maybe a video tutorial or something, but then having that work with me. And I think we call it on mine as work with me or book me. I have to go back and look at that.
Everyone calls them different things. Basically, it's just a longer form that allows you to collect some information and allows the prospect to feel some trust with you.
Thank you. I hope that was interesting and helpful to the audience. Let us know. I know we have a couple people on here watching. Melody, Flossie. Some of the comments are not coming up, but I'm trying to say hello to people as I see them. Our second topic is, and this is really interesting, why lead nurturing is just as important, if not more important, than lead generation. So do you want to explain what those both mean to the audience, just in case they don't know?
Sure. So lead generation would be like, how do I bring new leads into the business? Lead nurturing would be, here's the leads I already have that aren't yet ready to buy. So I need to keep nurturing them until they are ready to buy.
Okay.
So one is about pursuing new. The other is about, what do I already have that I, with a little more time and effort, could convert into a customer.
Okay. So tell us what we need to do for that.
Yeah. So I think this falls into the same category as what we talked about earlier. We always chase new, thinking we need more. And it's not about quantity, it's about the quality. And if you think about that dating analogy, or you think about the car salesman analogy, people aren't ready to buy right away. So they need more time from you. They need more education from you. They need more understanding of what you do to bring the quality of a relationship to a point where they're ready to buy. And it can take up to 2 years for someone to be willing to buy from you, either because the timing's not right, the finances aren't right, they have 6 other projects going, so they couldn't devote the time to work with you right now, or maybe it's just something that takes a longer time. Like, for example, I have some chronic health stuff that runs in my family, and I'm working with a doctor on it, and someone told someone else that I was doing it, and they're really interested, and they have been asking me about it for a year, like, hey, how's it going? Hey, I'm just waiting to see how it's going with you before I even reach out to the doctor. Because they're just not ready, and it's scary, and, whatever. And so we just have to realize people are going to buy on their own time. So let's keep nurturing them and stay top of mind and give them what they need until they're ready to buy. And if we are always chasing new and not focusing on the quality of the relationships we have with the people that are already in our world, then we're missing out on a big opportunity. And Mary, it costs a lot more to find new people than it does to convert existing people.
Yeah. So Melody joined us, and she said she used to subscribe to an email called Daily Candy. Every day they sent out top items to buy, and I did like it, but I actively opted in. The company, unfortunately, shut down in 2014. So there are, there's some sale type things like Tenga and Groupon.
I was going to say Groupon.
Yeah, I love Groupon, but I'm trying to, I don't read the emails now because I would buy too many Groupons. And I found out that actually, for facials and stuff, if you just go, they'll give you the same price.
Yeah.
Because they have to give half that to Groupon. So if you find something on Groupon, you can call the company and say, I saw you on Groupon. Can you give me the same price? And they will. And then the money goes to the retail.
Instead of Groupon. Yeah. I think the things that we're willing to look at daily like that, we're looking at because of price. And if you're a service provider, you typically don't want to be competing on price with anyone else because that's a losing battle. Meaning, if you're the cheapest out there, then you're just securing the customer because of how cheap you are, not necessarily the quality of work you're doing. And as a service provider, you don't want to be the cheapest. You want to have fewer clients, and you want to command a higher value.
And you want to work with quality clients. I feel like I remember taking a guy, I did not want to work with him, but I was at that point, I needed to. I took him. He was so difficult. I didn't want to work with him. I actually tried to stop after the first week, and he was like, no, we signed a deal. I was like, oh, Lord. I was like, okay, let me just get through this. And then he referred someone to me, and I was like, oh, no, I don't have space. Because I was like, it's going to be the same thing. And it wasn't something I wanted to do. It was helping with his job search. I'm like, no, I'm a career coach. I'm not going to go right to companies, Anyways, and just being in those situations, sometimes we take clients that aren't a good fit. So I think if you are the cheapest, you're going to attract those clients as well. Not always, but a good handful of them.
It tends to be a pattern. Now, statistically, I don't have any statistics on that, but, I can speak to my own experience as well as a lot of business buddies' experience, so it's similar. And if you really truly want to provide a high quality service, you can't do it at a cheap price because you would spread yourself too thin among too many clients. And Mary and I were talking about this earlier about capacity, and how there's only so much room, and we only have so much time in the day, especially if you're working a part-time job or a full-time job while you're trying to do your other business, and you can't afford. You just can't afford to have only a certain number of clients at a cheap price. So I agree there's a time and a place for daily emails, but it's often related to price.
Oh, Melody said, interesting tip about buying directly from the business instead of Groupon. Yep, I'm full of those fun tips, ladies.
I'm going to go check out my next facial that way.
You can facial, nails. I know for any beauty stuff it works that way. Obviously not for any products that you're buying on Groupon. Yeah. But for all the beauty stuff, you can just call them and say, hey, I found you on Groupon. I've heard that I can just pay you directly instead. So there's your bonus tip tonight. No.
Love it.
So thanks for sharing that. I think it's important. Yeah, it's cost effective to nurture or to work with the people already in and that know and like you versus going out and finding new business. I think that everybody knows that. Yeah. What other... So our third topic, we kind of left that open to talk about anything else that you want to talk about lead marketing, finding leads. How do you get your leads? Why don't you share with us what's been working for you or some of your clients?
Yeah, so I mean, almost everyone I work with, and myself included, referrals typically are a great way for them to secure new customers, and it's often the thing they're most reliant on and the thing we have the least control over. Meaning, we don't know when people are going to refer us. We don't know who
I don't think it's
us.
good. I've worked with some people, and they're like, one of my questions is, what's your source of leads? How do you get your business right now? Oh, referrals. Just referrals? Like, I don't believe that you should just depend on that, because at some point that could dry up. You don't know. You can't count on it. You need to have some type of marketing plan.
So I'll say, like, across the board, almost everyone that I speak with has referrals as a lead source, and myself included. It's not the only way. I too would not recommend that being the only way. For me, some other great sources of leads are typically getting in front of other people's audiences who are similar. Like this. And that could look like a few different things. That could look like speaking on Facebook Live. That could look like speaking in person. But typically podcasts. But what I like to do is teach something of value, and then if it resonates with people, then that tends to attract leads for me. Anything that you're buying that's high ticket, anything you can offer value ahead of time to someone else's audience who already shares the same audience but maybe offers a complimentary service or product, I think is a really easy way to find leads.
I'm looking at doing more of that collaborating or partnerships this year, and in 2020 especially. Melody's chiming in. She said you need to actively be pursuing new clients all of the time, and she spends a significant part of her workday dedicated to prospecting. So that's a great tip. You have to build that into your schedule. It's not an afterthought, you guys. I don't care if it's one day, maybe Monday is your prospecting day, maybe it's Tuesdays, maybe it's 8 to 9 in the morning, but you definitely need to have that built in. I use LinkedIn Profinder. I have to say 80% of my career coaching clients come from that. And I'll shoot out, I have canned messages, but then I personalize them. I look at what they're stuck, they're female, they want to pivot in their careers, they don't know how to do a career transition, so I'll personalize the top part of it, but then the rest is, hey, here's what my services look like. And so I send out a lot of those when I'm on fire, when I'm like, okay, this one's, but I only send them out to the ones that I'm like, that's a good fit.
Right. But you know what I love about that? That 80% are coming from that. So you double down on that effort versus spreading yourself so thin that you're like, let me just take this, what do you call that? Like spaghetti at the wall kind of approach.
Yeah. No, 80% of my career coaching clients come from LinkedIn. The other 20% are referrals.
Yeah. So that's fabulous.
Yeah, so I know career clients because they're on there looking for that. And my profile is set up, they'll say, hey, I checked out your profile. I went to your website, because all of that, it's consistent. And they can find all the information. So Melody also said she uses HubSpot to track leads. Do you use a program to track your leads?
Yeah, so I use Pipedrive for my CRM, but it's really about what works for you and what fits into your tech stack. Like when I look at software like that for myself or for clients, I like to break it up into three categories. What's a must-have feature? What's a nice-to-have feature? And what's a I don't need feature? Because oftentimes we group them all together.
Yeah.
Or we say, Lauren recommended Pipedrive, that's right for me. And most of the time what's right for one person is not right for you, because there's so many nuances.
Well, after the show, though, let's drop that link in the comments. So if someone's interested, because I never know, we don't know what stage of business they're in, how big their business is. I actually don't. I use ActiveCampaign for my email server. And I only use it to send out emails. Like I've segmented some of my stuff, but I need to work on doing that better this year.
Well, and there's a difference between CRM and an email marketing service, and sometimes they're blended and sometimes they're not. So for my email marketing, I use Drip, but for my CRM, meaning anyone who's like raised their hand and said, I'm interested in services from you, I do all of that kind of manual outreach and follow up and nurturing there. So there's anyways. But HubSpot's a great CRM as well, and it's kind of an all-in-one, and you can build your website on there, and there's all sorts of other stuff that's cool about HubSpot. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind. I think I know someone who got that, but they said they just didn't use it. She's newer in business, couple years, and I think when, you know, maybe 4 years and under, like that might not be the right tool, right, for the price and everything.
I mean, honestly, just a simple Excel sheet with a name and when you last contacted someone could be enough. And you check it every Friday, and you're like, okay, who do I need to reach out to?
Who do I need to reach out to? Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Oftentimes we think a tool solves all our problems, and
it doesn't. It creates headaches. Some of them create headaches. I've had some tools that are creating headaches. Well, thank you so much, Lauren. You've really given us a lot of things to think about. You know, the opt-ins, that you really have two different types. Following up, nurturing your leads instead of always looking for more leads. So I'm definitely going to go back and look at my website and see what if says, like, work with Mary. Because I know I have one, Book Mary, for speaking gigs. We have that on there. But I need to see if I have that second one. That's a great tip. So thank you so much. And I just wanted to remind everyone, I'm back from vacation. So Monday Motivation with Mary is back on at 7 a.m. I wasn't there for 2 Mondays. I did do a post. Apologize for that. But hey, everybody needs a vacation. Even the entrepreneurs. I needed to unplug, to recharge, so I can serve you better. So join me this Monday at 7 a.m. for Monday Motivation. I'll have something fabulous for you. And remember, it's 7 minutes or less, so you can get your day started. I also wanted to let you know that tomorrow, I'm trying to think. So I have back-to-back shows. So tomorrow, our rescheduled Facebook Live with Chris Tan on marketing messaging is going to happen tomorrow at 7 p.m. So please join us for that. And then I want to share an upcoming event that's really near and dear to my heart. If you're in San Diego, LinkedIn Local San Diego, I'm co-hosting with 4 other panelists. And we're going to be talking all about how to use video on LinkedIn, because we all know video marketing is here to stay. We need to embrace it. And we want to help you come up with topics and how to do more video for LinkedIn. You don't always have to be on camera. So please come to that LinkedIn Local. It's May 8th, 6 to 8 at WeWork in La Jolla. And the tickets are only $15. Just really, the tickets are covering some costs, but I want you guys to know that the price of the tickets, all the money that we raise, is going to the local Alzheimer's Association right here in San Diego, honoring my mom, who passed away 3 years ago. And the team said, yeah, that's a great cause. Let's donate. And then we have some great sponsors. We have over $2,000 in raffle prizes. I want to give a high five out to Thinkific, Agora Pulse, and Lights Camera Live for all of their wonderful raffle gifts. And then we have some wonderful nibbles and sweet treats being provided by Sweet Struck and Chef Summer. And of course, we have our wonderful videographer, Dan Harris, who's going to be videotaping the whole thing. So we still have, I think, 15 tickets left. So please help me reach the goal of selling 15 tickets before May 8th so we can write a nice big fat check to the local Alzheimer's Association. It would really make my day. It would really, really, really make my day, you guys. And finally, if you're ready to turn your LinkedIn profile into a lead magnet and attract your ideal clients, please go to my website, fill out the form there, contact me here, or send me an email on LinkedIn, and let's do a consultation call and see if it's the right time for us to work together, because sometimes you're not quite ready, as Lauren was saying. And let's just schedule that. It's just a 20-minute call to get to know each other and make sure that it's a good fit. So Lauren, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to stay on your email list because I love it. And I know that one day we'll be working together because I love the work that you're doing. So good luck on your red eye tonight.
Thank you.
And Lauren, how can everyone find you? What medium, what platform are you on the most? Where should people connect with you?
Yeah, I would go to my website, bixamedia.com. There will be a few different ways you can jump on my email list, and that is really the best way to stay in touch with me.
We'll drop all that information in the comments so that you have it right at your fingertips. Okay, everyone, thanks for joining us. Oh, yes? Did you have something else?
I was just going to say I'll check the comments, too, if anyone has questions for me about anything we talked about.
Please post your questions because we'll both go back in there and answer them, okay? Till tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Join me tomorrow night for another episode of Bite-Sized Tips for Busy Entrepreneurs. Ciao!